Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So lots to negotiate on this video today, but I'm just going to give you some additional information about Anton Griezmann. Also going to give you the latest news about Matthijs de Ligt. So the first topic of the development we'll start with is Anton Griezmann. So we do know Anton Griezmann is leaving Atletico Madrid. Obviously, you know, he made this admission a couple of weeks ago, and obviously, you know, it looks very imminent. He was set to join Barcelona, but obviously we do know now that Barcelona have got second thoughts of getting Anton Griezmann, and obviously, you know, Barcelona are stalling on their move for Anton Griezmann. So potentially it came out, was it a week or two ago, if I can remember rightly, saying that Manchester United had made initial contact with Griezmann over the potential move to Old Trafford. So I do believe Manchester United are in there for him. I don't see Griezmann coming to Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously, you know, reflecting back a couple of years ago, you know, we were on the brink of getting Anton Griezmann, but due to Atletico Madrid's transfer ban, the deal never currently materialised. So Atletico Madrid have basically, you know, come out and said, you know, that Griezmann has been a good servant to their club and all that. Obviously, he's been at Atletico Madrid 5 years, and you know, they did mention that they've got a good relationship and all that, and you know, they hope him the best for the future. They have basically said that they don't know where he's going to be going, Griezmann. They don't know where he's going to be going, and they've also said that Barcelona have not made any initial contact with Griezmann over the potential move. They've also said that Barcelona have not made any kind of offer for Anton Griezmann, so I don't think he will be going to Barcelona. Obviously, you know, Griezmann has spent the entirety of his career in Spain. Obviously, you know, he's been, like I said, he's been at Atletico Madrid 5 seasons. Obviously, you know, he's scored 133 goals in 257 appearances in all competitions. Obviously, last summer he was on the verge of joining Barcelona, was Griezmann, but obviously he signed a new long-term contract to Anton Griezmann, so he's under contract with them until 2023. His initial release clause is around 170 odd million pounds at the moment, but we do know at the start of next month his release clause does reduce to around 104 or 105 million pounds. So would you take Anton Griezmann at Manchester United? Like I said, you know, he's 28 years of age. He has still got quite a lot of development in him, and I still believe he's got at least 3 or 4 years in him. I don't think he's the Galactico player as he was a couple of years ago, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. He can still score goals and all that, but to be quite honest with you, I don't see him coming to Manchester United. So yeah, that's the latest news about that. So it remains uncertain where Griezmann's next destination is going to be. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, it was looking very likely he was going to be joining Barcelona, but now he could be, you know, on his way to the Premier League. You know, could Griezmann? It would be good for him, you know, to experience the Premier League facilities. Obviously, hasn't played in the Premier League yet. Like I said, he spent the entirety of his career with Spain. Obviously, you know, before he was at Atletico Madrid, of course, he began his career with Real Sociedad. But like I said, he is going to cost over 100 odd million pounds. I wouldn't be keen on us, you know, spending over 100 odd million pounds on Anton Griezmann. Of course, I'd rather spend that 100 odd million pounds on Joe Felix or Jadon Sancho for Borussia Dortmund. But obviously, you know, Jadon Sancho, you know, looks very unlikely now, because obviously we're not in Champions League football for next season. So I wouldn't be keen on spending over 100 odd million pounds on Griezmann. But you know, potentially Barcelona have spent quite a lot of money, you know, in recent years, especially, you know, on the likes of, you know, Ousmane Dembele, that cost them over 100 odd million pounds. You know, Philippe Coutinho, who they paid 142 million pounds for. So I think, you know, the majority of the Barcelona players, you know, including Messi and, you know, Messi and all that, you know, do not want Griezmann at Barcelona. I think Griezmann has become increasingly frustrated about this. So do you think he could possibly, you know, make the move to Old Trafford? So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about that going on. The latest news about Matthijs de Ligt, as I've been updating you on a regular basis, I think it's come out. I think this is coming from the Manchester Evening News, you know, basically saying that we have to make an offer for Matthijs de Ligt, you know, that cannot be refused. And I would be happy, you know, for Manchester United to do that, because I really like Matthijs de Ligt. Obviously, you know, we have emerged him as a priority target. Obviously, you know, he's a central defender, and that's obviously, you know, one of the priority areas where we do currently need to strengthen up. Obviously, reports came out yesterday saying that, you know, we are set to miss out on Matthijs de Ligt, because obviously I think the main factor reason is because obviously, you know, we're not in Champions League football for next season. I think it did say Matthijs de Ligt wants to join a club that can offer him Champions League football, of course. But like I said, you know, if he came to Manchester United, I think, you know, he'd do really well for us. I think he'd blend in really well. I think he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. Like I said, I know we can't offer him Champions League football, but I think, you know, we'd be able to show him first team football. I think first team football would be much easier for him at Manchester United than it would be for him at Barcelona, of course. But recent reports have said his likely destinations now are going to be Barcelona or PSG. So that's what recent reports have said. Matthijs de Ligt has not yet made a decision on his future. I think he's set to make a decision sometime next week on his current future. But I think he did say early on in the week, was it, Matthijs de Ligt, he was set to inform Manchester United about a decision on his future in the coming days. But we do know he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. We do know he's been been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window, and we do know so many teams have inquired about his services. But Barcelona have considered to be one of the favourites now. PSG are considered to be one of the favourites now. So they are the two teams that are favoured to get the player's signature. But we do know anyway, Barcelona have been the favourites at least in the last couple of months. Even though it did come out the other week saying that talks are stalled, between Matthijs de Ligt and Barcelona. Obviously, reflecting on the financial demands. Obviously, Barcelona were reluctant to increase their offer, and obviously Barcelona were not willing to meet what de Ligt was demanding, and what is of course agent Raiola was demanding, of course. Even though some reports did speculate saying that Matthijs de Ligt's transfer to Barcelona is a done deal and all that, it did obviously say that the fee and that had been agreed, but obviously they struggled to come to an agreement on the terms. So like I said, there's been so many teams in there for him. Obviously Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate Frankie de Jong, who Barcelona paid around £65 million for. But also Juventus have inquired about his services. It came out a couple of days ago saying that they lodged a bid of around 75 million for him. Also Bayern Munich have obviously been in there for him. I think they've now pulled out of the race for Matthijs de Ligt. Obviously Manchester City have inquired about his services because they're looking for a replacement for company. And obviously like I said, Liverpool are in there. And I was reading a couple of reports about this the other day. I think it did say Matthijs de Ligt's agent Raiola has actually urged his client to join Liverpool. So maybe Raiola wants him to join Liverpool. Like I said, the main factor reason why Liverpool have showed their interest in Matthijs de Ligt, because obviously Virgil van Dijk and Matthijs de Ligt know each other really well. They're both Dutch. They both play for the Netherlands national team. I think this is why Liverpool have expressed their interest in. Obviously, in terms of the transfer fees, Matthijs de Ligt's going to cost you from between 70 to 75 million pounds, because that's what is initially rated at. But he would fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly if he was to come in, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recommend young players to Manchester United this summer, and Matthijs de Ligt's only 19 years of age. Obviously, it did say we'd offered Matthijs de Ligt a lucrative contract, worth up to around £350,000 a week. Obviously, this equates to almost £17 million a year. And if this obviously was to process, this would make him one of the highest paid players at Manchester United, and of course make him the highest paid teenager in world football. So like I said, there has been so many teams in there for him. Obviously, it came out the other week saying that we'd withdrawn our interest, we'd ruled out the move for him because we were very convinced he was set to join Barcelona. So I still say we are in the race for him, but according to recent reports, it does say his likely destinations are either Barcelona or PSG, of course. And I think PSG are willing to meet what de Ligt's demanding, what his agent Raiola, of course, is demanding. But I would really like him at Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is obviously, he wants to recruit British talents this summer, because obviously he showed an interest in quite a few British players as well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But like I said, with Matthijs de Ligt, so far he has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax, and obviously he's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. Has been an Ajax player since the age of 8, the age of 9. Like I said, I think he made his senior debut with just was it the age of 17 he made his senior debut. I think he got named captain at the age of 18, and he has become an integral part of Ajax's squad. Obviously I think he's had 2.5-3 years worth of experience in their senior squad. I think he's made about 117 senior appearances. Obviously won the Golden Boy Award last year. Also enjoyed a really good season last season with Ajax, winning the domestic double with them. Also progressing to the Champions League semi-final, winning the Eredivisie title for the first time in 5 years. So it still remains uncertain where Matthijs de Ligt will be playing his trade next season, but it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Ajax. So yeah, so I think we've got to put an offer in for him, that cannot be refused, and that could get that could help us get the pursuit of Matthijs de Ligt. So yeah, future still up in the air at the moment, but he has not yet made a decision on his future. I think we should know by next week what he's currently doing, Matthijs de Ligt. So that's the latest news on that. Obviously, as I give you the news yesterday in regards to Ryan Sessegnon from Fulham, of course. Obviously, we do know Manchester United have been in for him. Tottenham have been in for him. I think Tottenham are emerged as the front runners, to currently get the player's signature, because I think from Ryan Sessegnon's perspective, he wants to make the move to Tottenham because he wants to play under Mauricio Pochettino. So potentially, Ryan Sessegnon has told Fulham that he wants to leave. He said he's not going to be renewing his contract term out, because I think Fulham have been in negotiations and try to get him a new contract and all that. But we do probably know Ryan Sessegnon does want to take his footballing career to the next level. Obviously, Ryan Sessegnon wants to leave because obviously he's reluctant to spend another season in the Championship. Obviously, Fulham are in the Championship next season. They are in the Championship next season. Obviously, after getting relegated from the Premier League after only spending one season in the top flight. But obviously, Ryan Sessegnon's obviously had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, in the Championship this season before. But I do really like him indeed. He's only 19 years of age, very young. Obviously, obviously, British, can play as a left back and also play as a left winger. I think now he's actually, primarily a winner. Is Ryan Sessegnon. I think Tottenham are looking on getting him for around £25 million. I think Fulham initially, want around £45 million for him, but I think Tottenham are reluctant to pay up to £45 million. I think Tottenham are only willing to offer £25 million for Ryan Sessegnon. Ryan Sessegnon has only got a year left on his deal with Fulham, but I do really like him, and obviously I think he's been their senior squad. Is it about 3 years now? Made his senior debut at the age of 16, and I think he's gone to make over a century of appearances for Fulham, so he has become an integral part of their team. Obviously, so far he has spent the entirety of his career with Fulham. I think he was in their youth academy, for like 8 years, so he has done really well indeed. But obviously, he's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. I think also Ryan Sessegnon is the first player to be born in the 2000s, to score a goal in the first team game. But yeah, Tottenham have been long admirers of the player. He's been on their agenda for quite some time. As I did say, we've been in there for him. It came out, was it about 2 or 3 weeks ago, saying we'd made initial contact with Fulham over the potential move for Ryan Sessegnon. But like I said, I think we're okay on that left-hand side. Obviously now anyway, we've got Daniel James in. Obviously, as you all know, he agreed the initial £15 million fee with Swansea. Obviously, add-ons included in the deal, so it does potentially rise to 17 or 18 million pounds and all that. So obviously, Daniel James is our first signing, and our first signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and obviously, he primarily plays on the left-hand side. So I think we are okay on that left-hand side. And at left-back, I think we're okay at that left-back position, because I think, Luke Shaw's very reliable, he's very trustworthy, hasn't really done much wrong as a Manchester United player, Luke Shaw, so I don't really see us getting Ryan Sessegnon in. I think Tottenham are emerged as the front runners, to get a deal over the line for him, but maybe the fee could be the stumbling block, because obviously, Fulham have said they want 45, Tottenham are only willing to pay up to £25 million for him, but obviously, Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer anyway, because I think Ryan Sessegnon is one of their priority targets now, but Tottenham wants to do transfer activity this summer, because obviously, they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously, the last player they signed was obviously, Lucas Moura back in January 2018. Obviously, their record sign is obviously, Davinson Sanchez, who they paid around £42 million for Ajax a couple of years ago. So yeah, Pochettino does obviously, want back in this summer. And I think it did say this was before the Champions League final. They did well to get to their first ever Champions League final, but they did lose it. But I think Pochettino said before the Champions League final he was set to hold talks with Daniel Levy and all that, because Daniel Levy, is actually a hard negotiator, to be quite honest with you. But I think he did say he's threatened, to resign as Tottenham manager if he does not get back to this summer. Of course, Mauricio Pochettino. Tottenham have spent about £254 million, since Pochettino got recommended in 2014. But he's done really well. He's been at Tottenham 5 seasons. Obviously, before he was at Tottenham, he had a good spell with Southampton. I know he didn't have a long tenure with Southampton, but he did really well. But he hasn't proven himself yet in terms of winning any silverware. So if Tottenham, want to be, winning trophies, competing and all that, they have got to get a couple of players in. So yes, I think they'll probably, if they can come to an agreement on a fee, I think, Tottenham will end up, getting Ryan Sessegnon, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. As I updated you yesterday about Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, I've actually, been updating you about Bruno Fernandes on a regular basis. It might have been early hours this morning, in fact, I updated you about Bruno Fernandes. I think he's probably, going to be our next signing, along with Daniel James. He's going to be our next signing, is Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, we have scheduled a meeting with Sporting Lisbon. I think it's for next week. That meeting has been scheduled for, because obviously I want to finalise a deal for him. I think we are set to get him in a deal with around 70 or is it £71 million, because Manchester United are willing to pay around 70 or £71 million for him. I think initially Sporting Lisbon want around £71 million for him. We do know it's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services, but recent reports have come out saying that City are no longer interested in him. They have pulled him out of the race, even though initially he has been on Manchester City's agenda for quite some time, even though the public came out with a statement, did Manchester City, saying that they're no longer interested in him, and then obviously they don't want to be, mentioned in the press again, linking them with Bruno Fernandes, when obviously, they're not linked with Bruno Fernandes now. So it didn't actually say before that Manchester City It didn't, as you said before, that Manchester City, were only willing to offer around £47 million for his services, plus a couple of their players as part of the deal. But I think according to Bola, the Portuguese press, it's basically said, we are emerged as the front runners, to get the players' signature. Recent reports have said, Liverpool are in there for him now. It's also said Tottenham have joined the race for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, I think he'd fit in Liverpool's system really well with Bruno Fernandes. I think he came out earlier on this week, saying that he likes Liverpool. With Tottenham, I don't know if he'd fit their system. I know Tottenham Tottenham could, offer him Champions League football and all that. Obviously, we can't offer him, Champions League football, but I still believe we are emerged as the front runners to get the players' signature. But Tottenham, obviously, seeing Bruno Fernandes as an alternative to Giovanni Lo Celso, because obviously Giovanni Lo Celso is a priority target for Tottenham. Obviously, Tottenham lodged around a £53 million bidding for him, was it, last month? But reportedly, I think they had this bid turned down for Giovanni Lo Celso. Giovanni Lo Celso has a release clause of around £88 million. I think from Giovanni Lo Celso's perspective, he does want to make the move to Tottenham. Manchester United have been interesting, but I think he wants to make the move to Tottenham. Obviously, he's 23 years of age. I think he's a central midfielder, isn't he? Obviously, Real Betis got him last summer from PSG. Well, initially he was on loan with Real Betis, but obviously a couple of months ago, Real Betis made the deal permanent. But I think they paid around, was it 19 or 20 million pounds? But obviously, PSG, do benefit from this if he does get sold, because obviously, they get a percentage of any sale. I think the percentage is around 20%. I think the percentage is around 20% they get, or something like that, PSG. But yeah, his release clause is around £88 million. So I think maybe, Real Betis are looking, Real Betis may want around 70 or 80 million pounds for him. But yeah, Tottenham did have around a £53 million bid turned down. I think there were add-ons included as well, so I think it added up to around the £62 million bid that had been currently turned down for him. But he's one of Tottenham's priority targets, is Giovanni Lo Celso, because he wants to make the move to Tottenham. But now reportedly they have turned their intentions on Bruno Fernandes, so they're seeing Bruno Fernandes as an alternative to Giovanni Lo Celso. But like I said with Bruno Fernandes, I like him a lot. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. Obviously, he has been on our agenda, for quite some time. And obviously, if Paul Pogba, of course, is to leave the club, obviously, Bruno Fernandes would be the good adequate replacement for him. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes' his initial release clause is around, is it 85 or 86 million pounds in his contract with Sporting Lisbon. But obviously, he did say Manchester United and Manchester City are reluctant, to trigger his current release clause. He's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But yeah, I'd love him, to come to the Premier League, because I think he's got all the attributes to succeed. I think he'd exceed expectation levels, and obviously, it's going to take his footballing career to the next level. He's been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of seasons. He's done really, really well, and I do believe he can replicate this form in the Premier League. Only 24 years of age, so still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Obviously, had a lot of experience of playing in Italy. When he was younger, the likes of San Pandora and underneath and all that. I think financially, Sporting Lisbon are going to make a huge profit on the player, because obviously, Sporting Lisbon got him for around £8 million from San Pandora back in 2017. So I do believe it's looking very imminent. He's going to be our second signing this summer, and our second signing, of course, under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. So Bruno Fernandes, does look very, very likely indeed. Initially wanted to get a deal finalised sometime this week, but I think the meeting has been scheduled for next week. But I like Bruno Fernandes a lot. He's got goals in him. He can also provide, and I think he will bring us them goals that we do need from that midfield, which is very, very good news. So yeah, I do believe it's going to be Bruno Fernandes, our next signing. Obviously, as well, about Joe Felix from Benfica, as I've been giving you an update on him on a regular basis. Obviously, it's Manchester United and Manchester City that are battling out for Joe Felix. I don't think Joe Felix has yet made a decision on his future. I think he's set to make a decision on his future, because I think he's unsure about his future at the moment. I think Benfica have basically made it clear they're only willing to sell if if his current release clause is triggered. So basically, Benfica basically said his release clause has to be triggered if they're willing to sell him. And I think it did say Manchester United and Manchester City are willing to trigger his release clause. I think his release clause is around £105 million. But obviously, he did really, really well last season with Benfica. It was only his first season in the senior squad, but he did really, really well. Did Joe Felix? He's not yet made his senior debut for Portugal. He's only 19 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. Like I said, can primarily play as an attacking midfielder, can also play as a winner, can play as a striker and a secondary striker. So very versatile indeed. But like I said, I do believe he can emulate him into one of the best players in the world. But like I said, I'd rather spend around £105 million on Joe Felix than I would Anton Griezmann, because I know Griezmann's still got quite a bit of development in him, but Joe Felix has got a hell of a lot more development in him than Anton Griezmann, because obviously Joe Felix is about 9 or 10 years younger than Anton Griezmann. So I'd rather spend £100 million on Felix than I would on Anton Griezmann, of course. But yeah, it's Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for Joe Felix's services. But he's got goals in him, he's got assists in him, and again, again, I do believe he would exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. And even if he doesn't leave Benfica this summer, obviously at some point in his career he's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level, of course. But yeah, I really like him. I think Manchester United have been scouting him since like January, of course, so the rumours have continued to persist since then. I think Real Madrid have also been there for him. I think Liverpool had a bid turned down for Joel Felix back in January, so yeah, he's still on Manchester United's agenda. I want to give you some additional information about Nicolas Pepe from Lille. Now, as you all know, it came out quite a few weeks back that the Lille chairman had confirmed that Nicolas Pepe is going to be leaving Lille this summer. Obviously, it still remains uncertain. Well, I think it's not fully guaranteed now, but I think it's still not, it still remains a bit uncertain, where he will be applying his trade next season. So now, according to recent reports about Nicolas Pepe, I think it does say now Bayern Munich are emerged as the front runners to get the player's signature, because obviously, Bayern Munich are looking for a replacement for Frank Ribery. They're also looking for a replacement for Arjen Robben. So obviously now Nicolas Pepe is on their agenda. I think it came out, was it the other week, about this, it was actually stemming from Duncan Castles, who was a journalist. He said Manchester United and Liverpool have expressed their interest in Nicolas Pepe. So this is what it basically said. And he also said that Manchester United have held negotiations with Lille to sign him. Also Liverpool have held negotiations with Lille to sign him. I think the quoted fee is around £70 million, that Lille do currently want for him, because that's what Lille, rate Nicolas Pepe at. But reportedly now it does say Bayern Munich are emerged as the front runners, to currently get the player's signature. But I do believe, if he comes to the Premier League, Nicolas Pepe, it would definitely, it would be the next step for him. It'd take his footballing career to the next level. And obviously is the obvious candidate for the right win for Manchester United. And I'd love him, to come to Manchester United. 24, just recently, turned 24 years of age. Got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him. Has been at Lille a couple of seasons as well. In fact, he has spent the entirety of his career in France so far. I think he's still got a contract with Lille until 2022. I think also Arsenal have inquired about his services in the past, but I think that £70 million price tag has actually put Arsenal off. So I think they've initially opted out of the race. So I think according to recent reports, he says Bayern Munich, of course, are in the ascendancy. Obviously, Bayern Munich are looking to get quite a few young players in their team, because they have got a host of aging up players, of course. Because like I said, they want to replace with Ribery, they want to replace with Arjen Robben and all that. But yeah, I think also Bayern Munich inquired about Leroy Sané from Manchester City. Of course, I mean, Leroy Sané's still got 2 years left on his contract with Man City. I think he has been surplus to requirements with Manchester City for the last couple of months. I think this is the main factor reason why, Leroy Sané has been linked to a move away from City. So Bayern Munich did express their interest in him. But I think it could be looking like they're going to get a deal over the line for Nicolas Pepe. So Nicolas Pepe has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, as well as I've been updating you in the last couple of days in regards to James Maddison from Leicester, recent reports have come out about him, saying that he does now want to stay with Leicester, even though he has been subjected to quite a lot of transfer speculation. James Maddison, of course, is 22 years of age. He's also British. Obviously, he's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League, so he's Premier League proven. It does say the likes of City, Liverpool, and Tottenham have been interested, and they've been tracking him since he was a teenager at Coventry, so they've been linked to him for a number of years. But reports were coming out a couple of days ago, saying that we emerged him as a priority target. It did say we made initial contact, with James Maddison and his representatives over a potential move to Old Trafford. No formal bid has obviously been put in, but it did say Leicester would want around £60 million for him. But I think James Maddison says he wants to stay with Leicester. I don't think he'll obviously be intending on spending the rest of his playing career with Leicester, but I think he may want to remain loyal to at least for another season. But yeah, it did say they wanted around £60 million. Like I said, I think Manchester United would be more than happy to pay £60 million for James Maddison, and I really like him indeed. Last season was involved in 14 goals, obviously created more chances than any other player, and I do really like him. And obviously Leicester got him last summer from Norwich for around £20 million. He signed a 5-year contract with Leicester, so he's under contract with Leicester until 2023, and I think he did have a good couple of seasons in the Championship with Norwich. Like I said, he did began his career with Coventry and all that. He initially had a loan spell with Coventry, also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen, so there has been talks of James Maddison going on. But I think now recent reports, this was coming from the Metro and all that, saying that he does want to stay with Leicester, so maybe we won't get a deal over the line for James Maddison this summer. And like I said, he's an attacking midfielder, so he would be the adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But like I said, the spending spree is obviously, is it 200 or is it 250 million pounds this summer? Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad, because obviously he wants to full areas where he thinks Manchester United are lacking. I probably think 3 or 4 players are expected to leave Manchester United this summer. Obviously, we've got to get a director of footballing. That's very essential indeed. That's a structural change that we do need at the club, and obviously it would be ideal to recommend someone who knows about the club, someone who of course has got the experience as well. So we've definitely got to get a director of footballing. Solskjaer still believes we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season, because Solskjaer was saying towards the back end of the season that he had been contacted by a number of agents, saying that their players want to come to Manchester United. But I think £200 million, should be enough for us to get at least 5 new additions on the board, depending on how we are with our recruitment this summer. Maybe some people said we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, because there's a lot of players on our agenda that are available for a reasonable figure, of course. So, like I said, I do believe in the next couple of seasons our aspirations is probably going to be that top 4. People said if we can get the right players to Manchester United this summer, they do believe we can win the league next season, but that's not going to happen. Like I said, we're a number of years off for mounting any kind of title challenge up. Obviously, at the moment, City are strides ahead of us. Liverpool are strides ahead of us, and it's very imperative, that we catch up with the likes of City and Liverpool, of course. And obviously, we haven't won the league since 2013. Obviously, that was in Alex Ferguson's last season. I haven't won a trophy, since 2017, and obviously, that was the Europa League. So I do believe going on into next season, probably our expectations will be to finish in the top 4. Maybe win the Carabao Cup. Maybe win the Europa League, of course. But we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working on bringing players in who he thinks are going to fit the culture and the history of the club, and he's also working on trying to keep his imperative players at the football club. But like I said, £200 million. Obviously, it's going to mount up to a lot more than that. If we cash in for the likes of Pogba and Lukaku, that's £200 million there at least. That we're going to cash in. But that we could cash in. Sorry, because there's a possibility chance now that Pogba and Lukaku could remain at the football club. Based on the huge transfer fees that we have put on them. I think another problem, we have let far too many players' contracts run down. That's been another issue. That's definitely been another issue. Obviously, Rashford's in the final year of his deal. Obviously, we have been in talks of getting Marcus Rashford a new contract. I don't think Man United have got Man United are not orchestrating on selling Marcus Rashford, because we still believe he's a long-term solution, even though he has been inconsistent in the last couple of months. But yeah, he's definitely a long-term solution, and hopefully we can come to an agreement to get him a new contract. Marcus Rashford, obviously, he's been a United player since the age of 7, but he has been inconsistent in the last couple of months. But obviously, he has sustained quite a few injuries as well, so that's taking its toll on him, of course. But we do know what Rashford can be like. He can be like lightning. He can get them runs in behind, but obviously it's going to take Rashford a couple of years, to get him to that level where he wants to be. Like I said, with Mata now, good news came out about Juan Mata yesterday. I was reading up in the media. Obviously, he wasn't included in that release list. I think we had a release list of around 14 players, or was it 12 players, something like that. But obviously, Juan Mata wasn't included in that. Obviously, the likes of Valencia and that were obviously included in and the Herrera, was included, but Juan Mata wasn't, because I think Manchester United now have reportedly offered him a contract, so we want to get him a contract extension. It remains uncertain at the moment whether Juan Mata will accept this contract offer or not, because we do know he's coming to an end of his contract, is Juan Mata. And like I said, I'd love him to spend at least another season with Manchester United. I know initially now he doesn't get in the team, he's a squad player now, he's Juan Mata, but I do believe he's been a great servant to the football club. He's been here 5 years. I think he scored about 45 goals, in 218 appearances in all competitions for us, and I think he's done really well for Manchester United. But I don't think we're going to be willing to offer him a long-term contract, because obviously he's 31 years of age now. He is aging up. He has lost that yard of pace, but I think we are willing to offer him a new contract, because obviously I think he's been linked with a move to Spain. I think Barcelona have been in talks of getting him on a free transfer. Obviously Juan Mata had a lot of experience of playing in Spain when he was younger, because obviously he's Spanish himself, born and bred in Spain and all that. Obviously initially began his career with Real Madrid. Obviously had 4 years there with Valencia, where he did actually play under Unai, but being a fantastic servant in the Premier League. In total, he's been in the Premier League about 8 years now, as Juan Mata, or is it 7.5 years or something like that, because obviously he had 2.5, 3 years with Chelsea when he was younger. But I think we paid around, was it just under £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2014, so he has been here since the David Moyes era. So hopefully we can come to an agreement to get him a new contract. It has been looking very likely he's set to leave Manchester United this summer, but whether he accepts his contract offer or not, I do not know. And obviously with De Gea, he's in the final year of his deal. he's in the final year of his deal, is David De Gea. I think it's looking very imminent, he's going to be leaving without a shadow of a doubt, because he's blatantly told Manchester United he's not willing to sign a new contract. As I said, PSG have been in there for him. I think now PSG have stepped their interest up in David De Gea, because obviously, Buffon is set to leave PSG. I think it did say before that PSG are willing to put a bid in of around £60 million for David De Gea. But like I said, we want to cash in for De Gea this summer. We wouldn't want to let him go on a free transfer next year, because obviously, that would be a calamity indeed if we let David De Gea go on a free transfer next year. Like I said, at full value for the goalkeeper, he's worth around £100 million, because he is potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. But obviously, we're not going to get £100 million for De Gea, because he's in the final year of his contract. I think reports came out the other week saying that we wanted around £75 million over De Gea. I don't know if we'd get £75 million. We'd probably maybe get 60 or maybe £70 million, but it did say PSG willing to put a bid in for him of around £60 million. It did initially say PSG were intending on getting him on a free transfer next year, so that could obviously tempt them to offer him a bigger salary and all that. So I think his likely destination is PSG. Even though Real Madrid have been long admirers of him, obviously Real Madrid have been linked to him a number of years now. Obviously, reflecting back in 2015, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting David De Gea, but due to that fax machine, the deal, of course, never materialised. I think it's also said Juventus have been in there for him. But like I said, it's looking like he's going to be leaving. Obviously, he's been a long servant at Manchester United. He's been here 8 years, of course, made over 300 appearances in all competitions. Obviously, won everything here domestically. Won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the last 6 years as De Gea. And Solskjaer knows how imperative David De Gea is to Manchester United. But I think it's looking like he's going to be leaving. Obviously, it did say David De Gea wants around £350,000 a week. Obviously, we're not willing to meet his wage demands. Obviously, PSG are willing to meet his wage demands, but we have been in negotiations for so long now, trying to get him a new contract. But like I said, if David De Gea does leave the club, I think we are going to need to buy a goalkeeper, to currently replace him. And like I said, I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to buy a goalkeeper to replace De Gea, because I think he's willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper. Like I said, I know Romero did good in the cup games last season, but I don't think he's reliable enough yet, to become our number one goalkeeper, Sergio Romero. But I know obviously we've got the likes of Dean Henderson, but Dean Henderson's too inexperienced at the moment. I think Dean Henderson, needs to gain a bit more experience. I know he has been on loan with Sheffield United and all that as Dean Henderson, and I think we need to loan him out for another season to get in that experience, of course. And he's still very, very young, but we need a goalkeeper to replace David De Gea if he leaves. And it's looking very likely. David De Gea is 28, so he has still got a lot of development in him. Obviously, has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. I think it was also bad business from us, letting Hamda Harari, go on a free transfer. That was really, really bad indeed. I think it was also a mistake from us, giving Smalling and Jones, long-term contracts. Smalling and Jones have been 2 long-term players at the club. Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years. Don't get me wrong, comparing them, I think Smalling's on a different level to Phil Jones. I think Smalling's much better than Phil Jones, but I still think, they're too inconsistent now. And this is why I said, we need 2 central defenders, of course, because obviously we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season, so that just emphasises the issues we have got defensively. Yeah. And like I did basically say, I've been giving you an update regularly, haven't I, about Youri Tielemans from Leicester. He's been coming out about it in the last couple of days, saying if Paul Pogba does leave, Youri Tielemans is a potential, Manchester United target. But it did come out about this quite a few weeks ago about Youri Tielemans, saying that the likes of Manchester United were interested in him. It also said Tottenham were interested in him. It also said Arsenal were also, interested in him. So quite a few teams have been interested in Youri Tielemans. He's only 22 years of age, very, very young indeed. Obviously, Youri Tielemans has had about 5 or 6 months experience under his belt in the Premier League. I think from Youri Tielemans' perspective, I think he did say he's set to return back to Monaco, of course. But he did really, really well throughout his loan spell with Leicester. I think he played about 13 games in the Premier League for them. I think he scored about 3 goals. I think he's primarily a central midfielder, is Youri Tielemans, but he's available for a reasonable figure, because I think Monaco, initially rate him at around £40 million. He's under contract with them until 2022. So it does say Tottenham have been in there. Tottenham have made negotiations with his representatives. Manchester United have made negotiations with his representatives. But I think actually Leicester are keen on getting him on a permanent deal. And I think Leicester have been in talks with Monaco about this, because actually Youri Tielemans was pivotal in Leicester's transformation. Under Brendan. under Brendan Rodgers and all that. So yeah, I think Leicester are keen on getting him on a permanent deal. So do you think if Paul Pogba was to leave, I think do you think he'd be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? But talking a lot about Paul Pogba, like I said, I think there's still a possibility chance that Paul Pogba could remain at the football club, because obviously, like I said, based on the huge transfer fee that we have put on Paul Pogba, obviously we do know his probably first choice preference is Real Madrid, because obviously Real Madrid have been heavily linked with Paul Pogba. Obviously Zinedine Zidane's got a lot of the players on his agenda this summer. Obviously his two main targets are Paul Pogba and Chelsea's Eden Hazard. And I think Real Madrid have now obviously got a deal over the line for Eden Hazard. As I updated you on my video in the early hours of the morning, Real Madrid have got a deal over the line. I think Real Madrid have come to an agreement on a fee. I think the fee is undisclosed at the moment, but I think it did say it could exceed to around £150 million. I think also the personal terms have been agreed between Real Madrid and Chelsea. And I think Hazard I think it's set to be unveiled on the 13th of June that Hazard is going to be officially a Real Madrid player. But yeah, that has been definitely confirmed. So obviously now Real Madrid are going to focus on getting a deal over the line for Paul Pogba. But we do know potentially that recent reports have said that Juventus are interested in re-signing him. Of course, obviously Di Marzio came out, was a very reliable Italian journalist. He said Juventus have made initial contact with Manchester United. Obviously Juventus have not put any kind of formal bidding for him yet. But like I said, I think Juventus would probably have to offload a couple of their essential players to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I don't think Juventus would be able to get him in a straight cash payment, of course, based on the huge transfer fee we've put on him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how imperative, Paul Pogba is to Manchester United, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing everything he can, try and convince Paul Pogba to remain at the football club. Came out, was it a week or two ago, saying that, we was willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid, to convince him to stay at Manchester United. Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract, initially 2 years, with an option of a further year, so you can say it's 3 years. I think initially, we do want around 150 or 160 million pounds, but obviously, Real Madrid are reluctant, to pay up to the 150 or 160 million pounds for Paul Pogba. Possibly, he would be open, to making a return back to Turin, because he did have 4 good years in Turin. Obviously, Juventus have been in negotiations with his agent Raiola, of course, and he did well in his 4 years with Juventus. Did Paul Pogba, like I said, he exceeded expectation levels, did really, really well, but hasn't really replicated this form, since his return back to Manchester United. Obviously, we paid £8 to £9 million for him. Obviously, our most expensive sign. Like I said, we've got a history of spending big on players, especially in recent years, of course. And like I said, you can get the best players in the world. If you're not, working as a unit, if you're not playing as a team, it's not going to get you in that commanding position, of course, where you do currently want to be. So, like I said, we have spent a big on players, and it's not always about getting them Glasgow players. Like I said, it's not always about spending a big on players. But yeah, we have got a history, spending big on players, especially in recent years. Like I said, Pogba £8 to £9 million, Lukaku £75 million initially, £90 million, with several add-ons, including the deal of around £15 million. But yeah, like I was saying with Paul Pogba, so now according to recent reports, now it's saying that Real Madrid are willing to offer Gareth Bale in a transfer offer for Paul Pogba, so they're willing to offer Gareth Bale. But if you ask the vast majority of Manchester United fans, would they take Gareth Bale now at Manchester United? They probably would say no, to be quite honest. I wouldn't take him now at Manchester United. Maybe if you asked me a couple of years ago, I would have took him at Manchester United. But like I said, Gareth Bale's been he's been linked with Manchester United, for so many years now, and I think I've been hearing the rumours, since the David Moyes era. But he's been inconsistent in his last couple of seasons with Real Madrid. Obviously, Real Madrid want to get rid of Gareth Bale, because obviously, Zinedine Zidane, did confirm that he's no longer part of his plans with Real Madrid. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane declared that Gareth Bale has no future at Real Madrid. I think from Gareth Bale's perspective, I think he wants to stay with Real Madrid, and he's got no intentions of leaving. But of course, Zinedine Zidane and Florentino Perez, want to get rid of Gareth Bale. Obviously, it's going to be hard, for Real Madrid to get rid of Gareth Bale permanently, discarding any swap deal and all that, because obviously, based on his substantial wages, because I think he's on about £600,000 a week. So there were reports coming out quite a few weeks back, saying that Bale could return to the Premier League, he could make a return to his former club Tottenham and go out on loan with Tottenham and all that. Or there were talks saying that Real Madrid, could let him go on a free, because they may find it difficult to get rid of him permanently, like I just said, based on his substantial wages. So, because obviously not many teams, would be able to afford Gareth Bale. Bale has got 3 years left on his contract with Real Madrid. He's about 3 years anywhere. Obviously, Real Madrid paid £85 million for him from Tottenham back in 2013. Obviously, I think that was the record signing then, or whatever it was. But Real Madrid would not recoup the initial £85 million that they did pay for him anywhere, because Obviously, he's been inconsistent in his last couple of seasons. Obviously, he's he's very, very injury prone, and this is another main factor reason why I wouldn't want him at Manchester United. Another main factor reason why I wouldn't want him at Manchester United, because he's aging up. He's 29, he's nearly 30 years of age, and he's on the decline. Is Bale, but fair play to Bale. You know, his ratio's still very, very good, even though he is injury prone. I think he scored about 102 goals in 231 games for Real Madrid. Obviously, I think he's won about 13 major honours, but obviously, it was Bale's job last season to step down to the plate. You know, with Real, to step down to the plate, of course, last season, because obviously, you know, Real Madrid lost Ronaldo last summer, and obviously, you know, Real Madrid didn't get a replacement for Ronaldo last summer, so it was Bale's job last season, you know, to step up to the plate, of course, which he didn't do. But like I said, you know, Bale can play on the left, you know, Gareth Bale can play him on the right, but I just don't want him at Manchester United, and I don't want him as part of the deal with Paul Pogba. But now it's saying Real Madrid are willing to offer Bale in a transfer offer for Paul Pogba, and I can't see Manchester United, you know, going along with this, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I did initially say we want around 150 or 160 million pounds, but obviously, you know, Real Madrid are reluctant, you know, to currently pay this, so they're not keen on a straight cash payment. So obviously, you know, Real Madrid are orchestrating something out. But like I said, it came out the other week saying, you know, that Paul Pogba, you know, to Real Madrid was practically done. You know, this is coming from a lot of Spanish outlets, and it did, basically say that, you know, Paul Pogba had agreed a massive pay cut. You know, he said his salary was set to reduce from 13 million to 10 million pounds a year. So he did say his wages were set to drop by around 3 million pounds a year. But obviously, you know, they haven't come to an agreement on the initial fee, and I think the fee is actually, you know, the stumbling block in all of this. So we'll actually, you know, see what happens. You know, Paul Pogba, he's still arguably, you know, one of the best midfielders in world football. You know, he's playing in the right vein, when he's playing in the right manner, and he's 26 years of age, he's in his prime. You know, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, but maybe Paul Pogba, you know, wants to rejuvenate his career. Maybe the couple of main factor reasons why he wants to leave: he wants to be playing amongst better players, wants to be in Champions League football, maybe, you know, wants to be, you know, winning trophies and all that. And obviously, you know, he's not experiencing this at Manchester United, is Paul Pogba. So like I said, James Maddison would be a good replacement for him. I think Bruno Fernandes would be a fantastic replacement for him, of course, if Paul Pogba does leave. So I don't know if he's going to be leaving yet, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously, as well, I've given you the latest news about, you know, Romelu Lukaku. Of course, I've already given you the latest news about him. There's a possibility, chance now that Lukaku could remain at the football club, because obviously, you know, we've put a huge transfer fee on him, because I think it came out towards the back end of last week, you know, saying that we want around 80 million pounds for Lukaku. So basically, we're looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay for him from Everton back in 2017, of course, because we got him for 75 million pounds. Obviously, it was 90 million pounds with, you know, several add-ons included of 15 million pounds. Lukaku has still got 3 years left on his contract, and he's on about 250,000 pounds a week. So like I said, the fee could be the stumbling block of him making his proposed move to Inter Milan. Also, that could be the stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan. Is obviously no financial fair play rules. Obviously, it did say Inter Milan have got to raise around 40 million pounds before the 30th of June, you know, to meet financial fair play regulations. So this could be another stumbling block in that. Like I did basically say, you know, Romelu Lukaku has been heavily linked to move to Inter Milan, and it came out the other week saying that, you know, everything had been agreed, but the fee, it said Inter Milan had agreed personal terms with Lukaku. It also said Inter Milan agreed around a 5-year deal for Romelu Lukaku, worth around £7.5 million a year. I think bonus requirements involved, and it did initially say that Inter Milan were willing to meet his wage demands and all that, and it even did say Lukaku was willing to take a pay cut to make the move to Inter Milan. But like I said, Antonio Conte got appointed as Inter Milan's new manager last week, and obviously, you know, he's identified Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. Obviously, I think we've got to get rid of Lukaku anyway, because it will help us with our transition, it will help us with our rebuilding process, and obviously Lukaku is one of the problematic players at the football club, because obviously Lukaku is surplus to requirements at Manchester United, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has told him. Obviously, last week Manchester United told Romelu Lukaku that he can leave, but obviously, you know, we want around 80 million pounds from this. Is a figure that Inter Milan, you know, would be reluctant to meet. So I think Lukaku, you know, did well, very well in his first season with Manchester United. You know, he scored 27 goals in all competitions. I think across 2 seasons he scored 42 goals for us and all that. But he enjoyed a difficult second season with Manchester United, because we know mainly Marcus Rashford had been first choice ahead of him. So we can't keep Lukaku at the football club, because obviously going on into next season, you know, he isn't going to be assured first team football, of course. So I think, you know, Inter Milan are going to have to try and orchestrate something out. I think he did initially say that Inter Milan want to get rid of Mario Icardi. I think he's been spoken about as part of the deal with Lukaku, but I like Icardi. Icardi a lot. I think he's the same age as Lukaku. Lukaku's 26, you know, Mario Icardi's 26. Icardi's obviously never played in the Premier League yet. You know, he's been in Italy about, you know, he's been with Inter Milan about 6 years now. Obviously, the majority of his goals have come at Inter Milan. But obviously, you know, Inter Milan do want to get rid of him. But I don't think Solskjaer is keen on bringing him in. Obviously, it came out the other week saying that Inter Milan were willing to offer us £30 million for Lukaku plus Ivan Perisic as part of the deal. But obviously, you know, we're not willing to go along with that because obviously Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. He's no longer a Manchester United target, as he was a long-term target under Jose Mourinho, but no longer a target now. I think Milan Skriniar was spoken about. It says, you know, if we're willing to let Lukaku go as part of any swap deal, you know, we were demanding Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar and all that. So, yeah, so, like I said, you know, I've got reservations about Lukaku anyway. You know, his first touch concerns me. He's a big game bottler, you know, he doesn't really have that endless potential, you know, Romelu Lukaku, to be quite honest with you. And yeah, I've got a lot of strong reservations about him, but he has still got a lot of development in him. Like I said, his ratio still very good in the Premier League. You know, he's scored a lot of goals in the Premier League. His pedigree is very, very good in the Premier League. But I think we have got to get rid of Lukaku. And of course, if Lukaku leaves, we're going to need a replacement for him. I think it's looking very imminent that Darmian and Marcus Rojo are going to be leaving the club. You know, which is very, very good news. I think at an estimated guess, you know, we can get around 25 or 30 million pounds for Matteo Darmian and Rojo. Like I said, we know Valencia is leaving, so we're going to need a replacement for him at right back. But yeah, and that's mainly everything to update you with today, guys. And thanks for your time. And the main part of this video, you know, was to give you an update on the latest news about Antoine Griezmann. So, like I said, it has basically, you know, come out about Antoine Griezmann. You know, it's basically said, you know, Atletico Madrid have basically said, you know, they haven't received any offers from Barcelona, or Barcelona have not made any initial contacts. And also, Atletico Madrid have said they don't know where Griezmann is going to currently, you know, going to be going, so his next destination, you know, remains uncertain. Manchester United are in there for him, of course, but I don't see him coming to Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. So, anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.